A protester who was shot in the head last week in Myanmar's capital died on Friday. 20-year-old Nyat Twet Kang had been on life support since she was taken to hospital after she was hit by what doctors said was a live bullet at a protest. She is the first person to be killed since Myanmar's army seized power on February 1st. Police moved in on different protests across the country Friday. Baton-wielding officers were seen running at anti-coup protesters in northern Kachin state in the city of Myitkyina. Clashes have erupted there in the past 2 weeks, and police have fired rubber bullets and slingshots to disperse crowds. In Myanmar's largest city, Yangon, police barricaded its largest protest site. A witness said hundreds of people gathered at the barricades anyway, while a procession of several thousand gathered at another point, including LGBTQ protesters chanting and holding the Hunger Games-inspired three-finger salute of resistance.
It's Moses Mooley's job to look after the crews of abandoned ships. He took us to one, the MV Jinan, that's moored off Kenya's coast. 1.5 years ago, it unloaded a cargo of construction materials here at the port of Mombasa. And it's been in this channel ever since, waiting for instructions from its Lebanese owners that the Syrian crew says never came. The only way to meet them is by climbing on board, since they can't leave the ship. The ship's crew haven't been paid since months before it was abandoned. The port city of Mombasa is just there. It's only about 1 kilometre away, so close but yet so far for the sailors stuck on board. COVID restrictions and immigration rules mean they can't go on the land. Plus, if they abandon the ship, they risk losing the wages that they're owed, in some cases up to 3 years.
Now, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu flexing his political muscles on Wednesday, revealing that a complicated prisoner swap agreement has been reached with Syria, and that Netanyahu's, quote, personal connections with Russia played a part. Hannah Rifkin reporting.
Secretive negotiations earlier this week, not so secret anymore. Israel and Syria agreeing to a prisoner exchange involving a young Israeli woman and 2 imprisoned Syrian residents of the Golan Heights. And the deal, brokered through Russia in a meeting lasting less than an hour, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu telling Army radio that he's using his personal connections with President Putin to secure the Israelis' release. Meanwhile, National Security Advisor Meir Ben-Shabbat and hostage coordinator Yaron Blum leaving for Moscow on Wednesday as well.
Moving on, a bombshell report. Iranian regime scholar Ahmed Abedi claiming that the late IRGC commander Qasem Soleimani created centers to spy on Jews within the Islamic Republic. It's estimated that there are less than 10,000 Persian Jews still living in Iran out of a total population of nearly 83 million people. But despite this tiny faction, the Ayatollah regime is going to great lengths to monitor their goings-on, with the late Qasem Soleimani establishing, quote, many centers for monitoring Zionist Jews. But wait, there's more. Before his assassination in 2020 at the hands of an American drone strike, Soleimani also helped Iranian proxy terror group Hezbollah to build terror tunnels extending from Lebanon into Israel.
Escaping the pandemic, desperate migrants forced their way across security lines on an international Amazon bridge. The group is mainly made up of Haitians as well as Africans. Some are pregnant or with children and are carrying what little they have. But the border is closed, and on Wednesday, police and the military stopped them and sent them back.
In the morning, there were more than 300. They pushed the police and ran to the Peruvian side. But then the police partly pushed them back here with violence, which should not be allowed to happen.
The caravan has been stranded on the border region of Madre de Dios since Friday. They set up tents waiting for a chance to make their way north, officials say to Haiti, Panama, or the U.S.
18-year-old Caleb Samaila managed to escape when unidentified gunmen launched an overnight attack on a boarding school in north-central Nigeria. One student was killed and 42 people, including 27 students, were kidnapped, according to the state governor. Caleb recounts his experience.
I was sleeping. That day I was sleeping in the hostel. Then I heard the kidnappers come to our hostel and start shooting their guns. I came out and saw them, then I ran and jumped over the fence. There were other students too, running everywhere.
The state governor said the assailants stormed the government science secondary school in Niger State at around 2 a.m. and overwhelmed the school's security detail. It is not immediately clear who was responsible. Kidnappings for ransom by armed groups are common across many northern Nigerian states.
Right, now President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced another project to deal with the country's energy crisis. He says government is looking to develop hydrogen fuel cell and lithium battery storage technologies to generate electricity that is not coal-based. At the same time, government is still busy with processes that will allow municipalities to buy power from independent producers.
Hydrogen and the fuel cell technologies which use platinum offer an alternative source of clean electricity, while hydrogen allows for energy to be stored and delivered in a usable form.
Now we're getting you some CCTV footage and images of Srinagar terror attack. 2 cops were fired at by terrorists outside a police station. Both policemen unfortunately succumbed to their injuries. This is the second attack in Srinagar just in a few days' time. Here, Shuja Ulaq joining us for more details on that. Shuja, CCTV footage showing very clearly the terrorists. The face is also very visible. He's managed to shoot at 2 police officers and killing them and then runs away. Unfortunately, both those officers there were injured, eventually succumbed to their injuries. And this is the second attack, we believe, in Srinagar in just the last few days. Take us through the details. Any understanding of the whereabouts of these goons?
Well, Nabila, so far, there hasn't been any understanding of the identity of this attacker, so to speak. But the whole attack, as you can see, has been captured in this CCTV.
Heartbeat tones indicating everything is nominal.
The tension inside mission control as real as if this were a human mission. Watching and waiting as 127 million miles away, Perseverance was in its final fiery descent through the thin Martian atmosphere. Finally, at 3:55 p.m., confirmation.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the signs of past life.
Perseverance had stuck the landing. Then the first shots of the landing zone, Jazeera crater, billions of years ago, a massive lake. Soon, Perseverance will drill into rock and soil, searching for evidence of ancient microbial life.
Did that ancient life adapt, as life on Earth has? And is it somewhere underneath the surface, hiding from the radiation